Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to part two of my American Horror Story theory and predictions for season 13. Now, as we were talking about on episode one of my theory, which is also part seven, is a continuation of what I was explaining before. The Oshtor coven, which is the coven that we got introduced to in season 12. I think that the importance of that coven is that the mysteriousness of what's going to happen in season 13 is that they deliberately bring this coven back to usher in the end of days and to the 13th season. Other prediction I had was that number 13 could be used for the mark of the beast in some capacity, and that whatever the new powerful Antichrist child is going to be able to flex his abilities similar to Michael, where he is the daughter in a weird way, like a connection of Siobhan. But here's my prediction though. At the end of season 12, we also have Siobhan having a child. And that child was made out of the specimen of Anna and the her son. And the connection of that, I'm not sure how that's gonna tie in, or these two babies are gonna merge. And then we also know that in season 8, the Tate and Emily, Timothy and Emily were literally the makeup genetics to make up the perfect specimen, which the devil did use to create the rebirth of another Langdon, right? And I was referencing this again, though, that whole arc of the covenant. If you look at this closely, it's like a dark version of that. It's like an inverted version of that. If you look at the original heavenly connection of that, you also see the historical godly form of the covenant, which is literally the Ark of the Covenant, which is literally in the Bible, of two cherubs sitting on the throne of the chair of the covenant, covering their eyes due to the holiness and the power that is the Ark of the Covenant. But from what I also predict is that a lot of people have been trying to understand where does Asylum comes into this. I think we're gonna get some sort of like Twilight type of season where all of the different tribes of witches will come together to fight off that evil. But at the same time, I'm thinking how they're going to bring Asylum. Now, if you think of Asylum had a heaviness on religion. We also saw that Sister Jude was one of the nuns that was part of the whole thing. And then on top of that, we knew that the aliens were like a representation of the deity that is in American Horror Story. But Skama, or whatever her name is, that was played by Frances Conroy, is the angel of death, which comes collect similar to like the Eric Mordrake or different characters in the freak show that are similar in the same tier as like Papa Legba. Now, like I mentioned again, with Jessica Lange reprising her role as Constance, I think we're going to get a more, I guess, expanded connection to her family lineage. Will her entire family be a connection to witches? We know that in American Horror Story Coven, Zoe Benson's family was basically every generation it kind of skips. Sometimes the powers may show up in different generation capacity, but sometimes it does not. With Ariana Grande's character, where does she fit in all of this? Is she like a I would say, a pure descendant of Mallory, or is it this, or is she's gonna come in as this like this innocent looking witch, and then even more things are gonna happen? I beg to differ, but like I said, Mallory is gonna have to sit everybody down, even the Hawthorne School, to basically tell them about what's gonna have to happen. And I think that's what's more interesting about this. It's like she's gonna have to explain to them like, hey, I'm from the future. This is what happened in the timeline. I had to reset the future with Tempus Infinitum, and that you, Miss Cordelia, had to give up your life in order for me to rise as the Supreme. I think she's gonna have to explain that in order for the other Supremes and stuff to rise. Furthermore, the scary thing we saw about this trailer is we see Mallory, but we also see Myrtle Snow, but we also see Fiona Good and Queenie. It seems as if they're bringing back all of those characters together. And I think for Cordelia to not, or for Mallory to not make the same mistake, I think she's gonna bring in the Hawthorne School for Exceptional Young Men in order to combat this evil. Because remember, in the past, the evil was risen by them when they took Michael Langdon and taught him their version of the Seven Wonders. So I'm assuming that in order for this mistake to not happen, the evil may have to come from somewhere else. And I think this is where the Othor coven comes in, that teach Michael the new Langdon creation their version of like the Seven Wonders. And that's crazy. I think the people that are in Devil's Night are fleeing away to get, I guess, a safe haven to the coven, because they know that only a witch could fix that. Because remember, Mr. Marge met with and that's another thing I don't think they questioned. Can ghosts remember what happened if the timeline is switched? Like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video for part 3.